Does it make sense to pay off your current mortgage? Or does it make sense to invest the equity in your home or the money that you have invested in smaller properties, hoping to turn those properties or hoping to leverage those properties, as opposed to just slicking out of everything and not having any expenses and then going slow and going at a steady, solid, conservative pace? Or do you take these high risks that if the market blows up, then you lose everything and it all goes the heck in a handbasket? What a lucky gamble that was.
Well, again, it's situational and you just have to weigh it out. It depends on your interest rate. A couple of years ago, money was really cheap. So for a lot of people, it didn't make sense to take a lot of their money and put it as a down payment or pay cash for a house. You have a lot of equity in a house when they could grow that money somewhere else, either through investment properties or other investments. But speaking of risks, there have been real estate is not a high risk investment. When you're going to hold on to these properties, you're going to see growth. You're going to have opportunity to take advantage of markets that you have a little more control over how you use that property than you do if it's just an investment through the stock market or something. You're a little more hands-on with it. Growing your wealth through real estate is a very sound practice, but you would need to speak with your financial advisor, your accountant, to see what your personal situation is. Is your money going to serve you better growing in an investment property or paying off your house that you have a very low interest rate on? So it's really not costing you a lot of money, but real estate is a great way to grow your wealth.
It's interesting because when you talk to the wealthy and you say, what advice would you give to a small independent business owner that's starting out? The first thing that they usually say is, I wish I'd gotten involved in real estate sooner. That's the very first thing that they say. And
Yep.
so it does seem like a good long-term strategy. So I'm curious, let's say that was the case, and we're going to go from one big property to two smaller properties. Where would you start looking for places? Because like right now, I don't want to say it's like the ping pong effect, but like my husband will jump online and he'll jump into an area and go, wow, the real estate looks really good right here. Oh, but it doesn't look good over here. And he's like making all these wild guesses. Like, how do you decide what is good and what is not good? And where do you start? And you go like realtor.com or Redfin or Porch, or like where do you go to find the best information for somebody that knows nothing about investing in real estate?
Talk to somebody who does. Talk to a realtor. Find a realtor who has, like Aaron said, they worked with lots and lots of investors. I've worked with investors. Talk to a realtor who does that and come up with do you want to have 3 homes in your portfolio? Do you want to own rental properties or short-term rentals, Airbnb? Do you want to go to the coast? For some people, that makes sense for them. I want to buy an investment property that I can spend 3 months a year and then use it as a short-term rental or as a rental property the rest of the year. I've worked with a lot of investors and we try and focus on Charlotte's a big city with lots of little bedroom communities around, and those are great places to look. Older homes that need some money put into them, but you can buy them for less price and then flip them or get them to a condition where they're ready to rent. Have your realtor look in areas where they're having really strong rental markets if you're going to hold on to it for that. Or if it's an Airbnb somewhere that's, uptown Charlotte is a great place for Airbnbs. We have lots of sporting events. We have lots of golf tournaments. So just talk with a realtor, let them know what you want to do, what you want your portfolio to look like, and they can help guide you.
If you don't know what you're looking for, is the realtor also the person that you would ask, like, hey, I'm thinking about getting into the real estate business and I have no idea what the market is and I have no idea if the Airbnb thing is going to fly. I mean, I don't know if anybody's going to rent it. Like, are they going to know that? Or do you need to be speaking to a property manager? No, they'll help you investigate all of that. Find out what your needs and wants are, what your long-term strategy is, and they will do the research with you and for you and go over all of your options with you. Absolutely. Have your realtor reach out to your realtor for that.
So much of it is lifestyle. I mean, I just ran into that this week. We have a client who they currently own a home. They own a couple of lots. Because of work, they would like to be close to work. They want an investment property and they want a permanent residence. And so my conversation with them, as far as proximity to work, let's look at where there's low traffic so you can get back and forth to work easily. We're going to have to move you out of the comfortable community you're in to a community that's not maybe the same caliber. And so We'll move you as close as we can to work in a community that still meets as many of your needs as possible. And then for an investment property, we were looking at properties that were on the market 90 plus days that needed value add so that we could go in and negotiate with desperate sellers that wanted to get rid of those properties. Typically properties that either, pre-foreclosure or probate were great opportunities for this particular person because he has some background in contracting. And so we can get properties that need a lot more value add versus just, painting new carpet. He's willing to do things like plumbing and electrical. And so we can look at properties that are even older. And then we were doing neighborhood reports for him that brings in a lot of external data in terms of income and age of families and those kinds of things that as a realtor, I'm running several analyses, right? We're running the analyses on, the rental market. So once that property's fixed, would it make sense to rent it out? What would those rents look like per month? Is short-term rental allowed in that particular neighborhood? Could you do an Airbnb? If so, what would those prices be? What are your break-even points? How many days a month do you need to rent it before it breaks even? And then, if you're going to just fix it and flip it, what does that after repair value market look like? How much money can you not exceed and still make a profit? So if you go buy this house, you can't put more than, let's say $30,000 into it if you're going to turn around and sell it in the next year. So your budget has to stay within that price range. So we as realtors, we run into this stuff every day, and it's really fun for us to analyze these things. Ultimately, we'll find him the perfect home, the perfect investment property, and your realtor would do the same for you on your market.